guys, it's Anthony from the Rad Company and welcome to Wash Wednesday. Today we are on our East Coast tour and we ran into Mr. Spaghetti himself, Rob Ferretti.
How are you?
Good to see you. And if you guys watched our previous video, which we did with Adam LZ, we met up for a wash, which turned into a big paint correction ordeal. And I think that's what's gonna happen today. So you have a car back here.
I do, yeah. You dropped me a message and all I heard was free car wash. And
I like working for free, so what do we have? Let's go check it out.
Sure. So this is my 2004 NSX. I picked this up about 4 years ago and I may have washed it about 4 times since.
Yeah, it looks about right.
Yeah, but it's
he's an honest guy, guys. So
I'm a driver.
Just saying it how it is.
I do like it when it doesn't have the dirt on the sides, but but the effort to get that off is generally.
Yeah, it's just not worth it. You know, you'd rather go take it.
Well, I drive it and then I park it and then I have to go do something. Yeah. So I'm like, I'll wash it later, and I just. Later never comes. I just until the next time I have to drive it, and then I say, "Wow, this is filthy." It
is what it is. And for a lot of people watching, you guys are sitting there cringing, being like, "How does he not wash that car all the time?" There's different types of people out there. There's some people that like to drive more than like to wash, and that's more important to them. And I don't blame them. You know, that's how it is.
It just, if I could keep my cars clean at all times, I would.
Yeah.
But just not the logistics and the desire isn't there.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
As long as it goes fast and stops, except for this one that doesn't go really fast.
So here's free car wash. I'm gonna make the most of it though, so I think it'll be fun. So you'll help me out for a small portion of it.
Sure.
See how you like doing that, maybe, who knows, maybe you'll turn you into a detailer.
No, not gonna happen.
Okay. All right, guys, well, I'm trying. So.
Hey, I'm gonna get you into golf today. No, it just doesn't work like that.
We are going to do the wash, do the clay, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get in the zone, dude. So I'm gonna probably kick you out, and I'm going to start looking good.
Looking hot.
So we're gonna go grab the stuff and we'll get to it. All right, guys, so we're ready to start washing. So Rob here, it has the IK multi-sprayer with O&R in it. So
this isn't water, right?
It's not water.
I was gonna spray it in my mouth as a bit, but I'm not gonna do that. You don't want to do that. You didn't warn me that I'm gonna need some safety glasses for this.
So it's not bad. It smells pretty good. So what he's gonna do is literally just spray the car down.
Like I'm painting it?
Do a little, like, just like that. That's all you have to do. So while he's doing that, I'm gonna use Power Clean, do a pre-spray on the wheels, get a lot of the grime and brake dust starting to break down, and then we're gonna grab some towels with O&R and start our wash process like that. So dude, he's a pro. Look at, he's doing great. It's easy, right?
The uniform pattern here is key.
And then give it and it's a pump sprayer. A lot of these people see these sprayers in our videos and they say, is that battery powered or how does it keep working? I say it's a pump sprayer. You gotta pump it to work this. You gotta pump it to work it.
You gotta pump it up.
You gotta pump it up. Brakes are nice though.
Brakes are nice.
Brakes, they look good. They're good.
You'll never hear a guy with an NSX say the brakes are insufficient, but they also say it's fast.
Yeah.
So then you get a guy who's driven other cars, it's like, wait a second.
Did you put these stop techs on here?
I did put the stop techs on it, yes.
Okay. And
it needed brakes, because with the Adventure Drives trips, we do find places where we can get up to speed.
Yeah.
And these brakes are awful above like 130.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like, really bad.
So is this the car you take on adventure drives, like when you're going on these things?
I have not personally driven it on adventure drives. I loaned it to Rob Dom 1 year. And then last year, a guy had his he was the co-pilot and he had his driver sort of cancel out like 3 days before.
Yeah.
And I felt bad, so I lent them the car.
And so what do you typically take though? Which car would you use?
I've taken my GT3 once or twice. I just found out from the dealer my allocation now for the new GT3. The only reason I sold the old one is because I had the new one coming in.
Yeah.
And I was expecting it to be like, oh cool, I'll be smart. I'll sell it before winter, before the prices dip a little bit. Yeah. My new one will come in the spring.
Yeah.
And then Porsche didn't release the 6-speed one in the first year. They announced it, but they didn't make it in the first year. Okay. So I've been an entire year without a GT3.
Okay.
Which is like definition of first world problem, but yeah, but if you've had a GT3, you'd understand the withdrawal. Like you need it. Now my allocation comes in December now for my 6-speed. Not in time for anything, but in time for Christmas.
So what I'm gonna do, so you finished up doing that. So what we'll do now, you can set that aside.
I think I'm done. I still have stuff in there. Should I use more?
No, that's good.
Oh,
you already covered it. So the idea when we're using that product is literally just to coat it and let that product do the work. So here's this towel. I fold it in force. That's the Eagle 350.
Yep.
It's really soft. And what we typically do, start from top to bottom.
Yeah, of course, so the water can run down.
So straight from top to bottom.
Should I have done the glass as well? Did I screw that one up?
We'll come back to the glass later. I'm gonna be doing the glass separately anyway. So what I do is I basically do a couple passes
I've got a better pattern than you.
You do.
Sort of like a checker pattern.
Well, if you want my job, Rob, you can have my job.
I will not trade. This is,
please trade me.
This is possibly the first time I've washed a car this decade.
Well, you're washing it. If you guys have seen he has a wash video. You should probably check it out. It's a decent wash, but this is doing a little bit better.
What, me washing?
Yeah.
No, on my Ferrari. But like, I don't really, like, people send me detailing supplies all the time. Like, hey, here's like a bucket of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like all these machines and everything. I'm like, what am I gonna do with these things?
At least he's honest, guys.
I rig them up to like entertain my cat.
Yeah. But yeah, all I do is I just flip the towel, because the idea is that once the towel gets dirty, you flip it, and if it gets bad enough, I throw it back in the bucket and I pull out a different towel. So as you can see, that one's getting kind of haggard.
Getting kind of hairy. We don't want to scratch the car.
Yeah. If I'm doing like a correction, like I am today, right? If I'm doing a polish, the wash process, yeah, it's important, because you don't want to put any more scratches in there, but you're not going to be putting some deep gouges in there if you wash it incorrectly, or if you don't do the exact right steps, because I'm going back, following up over it, and fixing what I just put in anyway. So we're still using nice stuff. This is probably the nicest stuff that this NSX has probably seen. I don't know.
I'm going to actually have to, just for clarification, I don't wear socks and sandals all the time, all right? Like, I just noticed this. I'm like, oh, wait, my feet are probably in the video. This is not normal.
So you're not a socks and sandals guy?
I have become a big vagina and I hurt my toe.
It is what it is. So what you can do is you can pull out a whole different towel if you want. Just throw that in there, pull out a brand new one, wring it out. Oh, so guys, look at all this stuff that just came off.
Bugs.
That's bugs.
They're resting.
They had a long day. Drop them off in the pool, let them relax a little bit.
You guys hang out, have a drink.
So you guys can see there's a ton of stuff coming off this car. So
as long as it's not paint.
Yeah, because the point of the wash is to add lubrication and using something that's absorbent like a towel to pick things up. That's what we're trying to do. And then we go in for the deeper decontamination with a clay towel. And Rob's over there he's like, yeah, he's saying something. I'm not really sure.
I'm not listening. I really tuned you out a minute ago. You know what's great? This car is actually, it was a rebuilt title car. But it's funny because this car was rebuilt because the cost of the repair versus what it used to be worth. Yeah. If that same damage was on this car today, it wouldn't be totaled out.
Really? Because of what it's worth today?
Because of what it's worth now. And that it's just really funny to think about that. And I've done videos on like when to steer clear of a salvage car and when a salvage car is a good buy.
Yeah.
I famously had that SLR McLaren through Gotham. Where a guy hit a curb and broke off the front wheel.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Perfectly reasonable repair.
Yeah.
But it was like $350,000 in like inflated like McLaren cost to repair, so the car was totaled. And I'm like, you would never total a car for that.
Yeah.
With the expensive cars, they're expensive to repair, and sometimes they get totaled out, and you can scoop them up at auction or just from a wreck for a super deal.
Is this a car you would get rid of because it has rebuilt title?
I've turned down double what I paid for it.
Oh, really?
It just,
sentimental value?
No, I'm not a sentimental guy at all. If it was, I wouldn't lend it to everybody. It's a reliable car, so I don't mind throwing the keys. It's easy to use. It's a great driving car. It's fun. It's sexy. And I can't imagine what else I would buy with that money other than another one. Like, if I take a Ferrari 360 on a road trip, there's always this thought in the back of my mind. It's hot today. Is this thing going to overheat, or am I going to have a problem?
Yeah.
And you just don't have that with this car. You just go out and enjoy it.
All right, guys, it's time to dry the car now. So we got some towels. Rob, I gave you the Twistress. So what this is a super absorbent drying towel. It's a twist pile, meaning that it's different than your typical microfiber. It's meant to be absorbent, it's meant to be soft. This towel can knock out the whole car by itself, but we're gonna use 2 towels just to make things a little faster.
Knock it out twice.
And as far as like the small contaminants that you'll see on the car, like you'll still see maybe like a little bird dropping, or you'll still see some type of like wax or something like that on the car. Don't worry about that. I'm gonna remove that once we get to the decontamination. So right now we're just simply trying to remove the O&R off the vehicle.
Wow, this towel is life-changing.
Isn't it? It's good, right? It's not bad.
Like I haven't had to flip it yet.
It's a really good towel, and we try to tell people that we don't want to give ourselves a big head by saying it's the most absorbent towel out there. I don't know if you know this, but microfiber is essentially really fine plastic, Rob. It's plastic that's so fine that it feels soft. Don't light it on fire.
Well, that would make a good video.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep one of these.
Yeah, we'll send Rob a bunch of towels. I'm like, so how do you like using those in the cars? Well, I lit them on fire and I made Molotov cocktails out of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll dry the car, then after this, basically we'll move on to the decontamination process, and I'm gonna do that with a clay towel. We're just gonna finish this up here and we're gonna catch you in a few.
I had like a spot repair from a guy who came on site.
Yeah.
When I lent it to Rob Dom for adventure drive, somebody sideswiped the car in the parking lot.
Okay.
So it looks better than it did.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you know what you're looking for, you still see it.
Yeah.
If it gets screwed up, I'll just repaint it. So.
Well, thanks for that. You know, so now I feel more comfortable with you telling me that.
Yeah.
I'll just burn through all the clear, and it'll justify a decent repaint.
Yeah.
Now, I want to do a good job, and I want to make sure that I'm not hitting anything that I shouldn't. So, is there any other areas on the car that you would say to stay away from?
No, you knock yourself out. But like even here, you could see the splatter. They were painting lines, and this idiot I lent it to last time decided to drive over the yellow painted lines and splash.
Is that what that is?
That's yellow paint.
Wow. Well, that's on there. That's on there pretty good.
It's had 2 years to dry. So.
It's cured at this point. It's on there for good. I'm gonna start knocking things out. I'm gonna let you go. You're gonna come back in a little bit. I want you to check it out.
It's funny. This is the start of your wash. I look at it and be like, cool, it's clean.
No,
It's
this looks good. Well, I want it to look just slightly better than this. So,
okay.
I mean, we'll walk over everything, show you kind of what I did, explain it, and then maybe go for a drive. Cool. So we'll see you in a little bit.
You got it.
Guys, we're at Detailer's Domain. This is actually an event going on. This is not like a planned thing, and yet here we are, right next door to this event.
You're gonna be hanging out with us for the rest of the afternoon?
No,
Why?
I'm gonna be next door working. If you want to help me, you
No,
can.
I already polished that car.
No, well, you know what? If I got all these people over there to help me with this car, we'd be done in 5 minutes. I swear, max. We got enough extension cables, enough people on there. We're gonna swell that clear coat as fast as we can. Tell them to come pick it up. Gotta knock out these wheels. These things are dirty, man. These things are really dirty. Spray a little power clean to my brush. Hit the face of the wheels. Not doing a super intense wheel cleaning job, just really kind of cleaning up the faces, not all the way into the barrels, but getting them cleaned up better than what they were. Because I'll use this to get between and underneath the spokes like this. So get the back sides, get all of that. And I think it's always nice to do it with a towel because I'm actually faster than if I were to take out a separate brush and use a brush for different portions. Like I said, I got a lot to do, so I just want to get these done and get them clean. All right guys, so now it's time to start the decontamination process. So inside my IK multi-sprayer right here, I have O&R diluted at clay lube dilution. In my bucket here, I have more O&R sitting with clay lube dilution with the Optimum clay towel. So what I'm gonna be doing is going over the car quickly with a spray and basically adding that lubrication to the surface. It's kind of like a second car wash, I tell people, but just for claying. So I'm not overly saturating the car. I'm just getting it enough to provide that lubrication to glide the clay towel over. So as you can see, one side it's clay, on the other side it's a microfiber terry. So if you haven't broken in this towel yet, sometimes I recommend using it on glass first and rubbing it in a back and forth motion to work the towel in. This towel's already broken in, so I know it's good to go. So what I'll do, put it on the surface and start doing in straight motion, straight lines back and forth. You see the contamination on there, flip it, and then keep it going. So I'll knock out this whole roof, then knock out the rest of the big panels before I can start polishing. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a spiral. So for some people that want to know what an egging looks like, what happens when you get a car that's been egged, there's a little spiral type of chip to where when the egg hits, basically it's collapsing on itself, right? It breaks, it has different breaking points. So as the egg is breaking, it's causing these little microchips into the paint. And so it always results in this swirled type of circle. That's something to look out for if you are polishing paint. So I know to probably stay away from that area. Don't put too much pressure on that, that particular spot. All right, so come down here and take a look at this, guys. So we got some type of dried tree sap, something that has just been sitting on here for a very long period of time. It's just been baked on here. So I tried clay, I tried a plastic razor blade, I tried to use my fingernail, and not a lot was taking off. This stuff has been on there for such a long period of time that it is literally caked and baked on here. Levi would agree. He's over here scrubbing. So fortunately, we just happened to be next door to Detailer's Domain. So went next door, they handed us some tar and sap remover. Once I finish up with this, we'll start the polishing process. But come down here and I'll show you that spot I was showing you before. So remember how gnarly that area is? So we're just gonna go ahead, take a little bit of our tree and sap remover. Don't wanna spray too much, but we're gonna sit there and just kind of lightly scrub at it. We're using an edgeless 365. As you can see, just disappeared. All right guys, so I just got in removing all of that sap off of this NSX. There was so much, it was ridiculous. I had to go spot by spot, cleaning it all off. So there is still solvent technically on the car. I've wiped it off, but I wanna make sure that I've completely removed it. So what I'm gonna do is just take a towel, an Eagle Edgeless here, a little bit of my O&R, spray the surface, and just re-wipe that area just to remove any of those solvents, because I was using an aerosol can, and with an aerosol can I can have overspray on plastics, or I can have overspray on rubber where you don't wanna use a solvent. So just going back over that ensures that it doesn't stick around for too long. After I'm done with this, I'm gonna grab my polisher and get at it. All right guys, it's game time. So I have my Rupes LHR 15 Mark II, and I have my last cut compounding glaze. So as you guys know, Rob isn't super into detailing, so I could go do this concourse level detail, but he's a guy that really even said that he wouldn't appreciate that as much as maybe somebody else. So for this, I'm just gonna give it a quick polish, get it looking better than how it is now, and then I'm gonna follow up with some Optimum car wax to add some protection and some gloss to it. So turn that bad boy on, and if I come over here, I can actually start to examine the paint. And as I can see that it does have some marring, it does have some swirling. It's not the worst I've ever seen, but it's also not the best. So what I'm gonna do is try to correct that probably 60%. If areas do turn out better than normal, then I'm going to be super happy about that, but I'm not gonna spend too much time. So with that said, I'm gonna get at it. All right guys, so I just did my test spot, so I'm going to examine the results. So again, like I said, this is a one step. I'm just using this pad and using the last cut. I'm not going any more above and beyond than that. So the idea was just to remove the marring and the light swirling. That looks pretty good to me. I'm pretty happy with those results, and this is looking a lot better. This is actually better than 60%, so I'm pretty happy. So I'm going to stick with this method. Let's get at it. Okay, so you guys know how there was a Detailer's Domain event next door. I was joking with Dane thinking like, there's all these detailers there. You know, some of them, or at least a couple of them, were to jump in and help me with this car. Things would go a lot faster. So Marco here decided to jump over and saw what we were doing and said, hey, I could polish something. And so what's your business?
OC Detailing based out of Parsippany, New Jersey.
Right on. So Marco here saved my day, knocked out the front bumper just in time before his wife came. And so he's like, I got enough time to do a front bumper. And then he's like, then I got to bounce. I'm like, that's plenty, dude. That helps me a ton. So I only have to knock out a few other areas with the LHR 75 before we were done with this car. So thanks again, man, for helping me out.
Thank you for the privilege.
Yeah, man. We'll catch you in the next one. Alright, hey guys, I wanted to briefly interrupt this video just to give a big shout out and thank you to Detailer's Domain and Rupes USA. This is another detail that we've done out on the road without most of our gear. So big shout out and thank you to those guys who made this possible, and back to the video. Okay guys, so we just finished up with the polishing steps. We cleaned the wheels and tires, everything's going great. So now the last step is adding some protection. So today we're gonna be using Optimum Car Wax, which is my favorite spray wax. I love it because you can spray it on everything and it's not gonna stain anything, and it provides good protection, really good gloss, and it smells like pina colada. Who doesn't like that? So I'm gonna be using the Eagle 350 still. I had a ton of these towels and they were a huge help in this detailing process. We happen to have a ton of them for the Detailer's Domain event, so I grabbed a bunch and I've been stealing them from next door. So these have been a big help. So as usual, I always like to start from top to bottom. So I'm gonna knock out the roof first, the hood, the trunk, all that, and then work my way to the sides and get this thing protected.
All right, let's see what this looks like.
All right, you're back. So you wanna check it out?
Yeah, let's see.
Okay, so it is finished. waxed, polished.
Wow.
What do you think? You thought it looked good
Like,
after we washed
I
it, so
know,
like I don't know.
Like I'm never surprised anymore. Every time I have an actual detailer touch my cars, it looks like a completely different car, and I say, why didn't I do this the second day I had it?
It's a big difference. Like
It's a huge difference.
It's a huge difference. Like
The same thing every time. My reaction's always the same. Is now I see the rock chips more pronounced, and I say, great, now I gotta paint it.
I think the biggest thing. Remember when I was like, have you parked this under a tree? And you're like, oh, I don't think it's been under a tree. It was under a tree, probably at one point or another, because it had some pretty gnarly sap on it. And so we had to remove that before we went to the polish. But after that, the polish went super well.
Looks really nice.
It was super easy. And then we put some spray wax on there that actually lasts a while. But actually here, I left that little last portion for you.
What's
so
that?
do you want to?
Can I just, am I doing it wrong? I feel like
No. Well, let me put a little something on there for you. So do a quick little spray here. So I left that wing just for you.
Nice, and all you do is
Literally all you do is just wipe, and then you'll flip the towel, and then just kind of buff it out. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. It gets smoother and smoother with each pass. It smells kind of like pina colada.
it does.
It's not bad,
can I
right?
eat this one?
It does smell pretty good. So, yeah, that's it, man. Everything went super well. I'm super happy with the car, how it turned out. You literally can't stop. Like you know I already did that, right?
Yeah, no, I'm just making sure you got everything.
Okay, all right. Well,
This looks like an egg. Somebody must have threw an egg at this.
I actually did point that out in the video that somebody did throw an egg at that one point.
Who does that? Like you're like such a dick if you key a
There's-
car or if you throw an egg at a car.
There's
you're
a
dick.
special place in hell for people that do that kind of stuff. And
Nah, it's just that's the type of guy you don't want him in jail. You just want to kick him in the dick.
yeah.
Just to be like, don't do that anymore.
Don't ever do that again and just kind of learn their lesson.
You know why.
Yeah. So after this is done, typically what we do on our Wash Wednesdays is we typically go for a drive. And so I'd asked you if we could possibly take the NSX for a spin and see how this thing gets on. Does that work?
No.
No. Oh, okay. Well, anyways, I guess we're
thank you guys for watching. It's been a pleasure having you here. I appreciate the free car wash. Gas is mighty expensive nowadays.
It is, yeah. So I guess that's that.
That's
So-
that. Is he serious or is he not serious? We don't know.
You never know. You never know with Rob. We literally could go home at this point.
We may go home.
We
We
may.
may go home in this. We may just leave it here.
Hey, who knows? He may leave me the keys. I may become an NSX owner.
And you'll find out in a second.
Okay, so we got you. We are actually in the NSX going for a quick drive. We got Rob here in the driver's seat.
That's me.
I'm in the passenger seat. So, got seatbelts on, right? Because this thing, you said people think it's fast, right?
They do. It's not. The owners think it's fast. I think the rest of the world knows they're pretty slow.
Either way,
reliable.
I mean, I'm excited to be in here.
And it's fun.
Regardless.
It's sexy, fun, and reliable.
You'd call that like marriage material.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So,
and that's why I'm not going to get rid of it. 0 to 60 in the better half of that memory card.
yeah. So, how long have you had this car again?
4 years now.
4 years and going strong.
Actually, maybe 5. It's been a while. It's been a minute.
Well, I gotta give you credit because that's actually longer than most marriages, right?
Yeah.
You know, with
In
the,
the US,
with
yeah.
the divorce rate these days, like 60%. So I would say you're doing pretty good by keeping around for this long, especially with how many cars you have.
You just have to be realistic about it when you go into it. If I went into this thinking it was going to be the fastest sports car, I would have been disappointed and gotten rid of it.
Yeah.
However, I recognize that it looks cool. It sounds nice. It's a fun driving car because the transmission is like buttery smooth. It's got a nice clutch, nice steering feel. It's a very well balanced car. It's just not fast.
Yeah.
And unlike some of the other cars from its time, you could make them fast. This one you can't make fast, really. You can
really?
start going to like a Comtech supercharger, but you're never going to see a car like this. I mean, very rarely, and it's not going to resemble this.
Yeah.
At like 600, 700, 800 horsepower. The most common thing that people could do to these is put them up to about 400 horsepower, give or take, 350 to 450, and that's it.
Oh, really?
And even at that, it's now a supercharged car. It slightly changes the dynamic of the car, just from my experience with like putting blowers and turbos on NA cars. It would be less reliable, and that's pretty much the thing preventing me from going down that road. Because a lot of the NSX owners and even tuner shops, when they hear me on my videos say it's slow, they're like, "Oh, we'll hook you up. We'll put the Comtech on for free and this and that." And I'm like, I I'm happy with it
You're
the way
happy
it
with
is.
it. Yeah.
There's no reason to change it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, it's still a light car, right? It's a lighter car. It's so. I mean, even with the power it has, that's still plenty for what it is.
Yeah. It's like making your significant other get a whole bunch of plastic surgery. Like, you don't do that. You just like, you be happy with what you have.
Yeah, you know, the God-given, you know, your God-given gifts, you know, keep it at that. Here, for the people that haven't seen what the inside of an NSX looks like, it's pretty cool. You got a nice little double din inside here, aftermarket that. And
That's aftermarket.
You got your microphone up in there, you can speak
That sucks.
into that. That sucks, okay.
Sucks, yep.
At least you're being honest. And so, got the shifter, you do have the push to start. Gauges look like there's something out of an Acura Integra.
Yep.
Is what they look like.
And you see I have my my airbag light, which has been on for, I don't know, a couple of decades.
It feels like what it would resemble.
Just the right amount of like time period correct.
Yeah, I would say you scored a pretty good deal when you picked up this car.
I'm very happy with it. It's one of those cars that, like, I foresee staying in the garage forever.
Yeah.
I just don't see a reason to get rid of it. And it's not so slow that it bores me, but it's clearly, like, compared to the benchmark of the rest of the world, it is slow.
Yeah.
But I mean, you give me a nice shifting manual in virtually anything, and I can enjoy it and have fun with it.
I guess it always goes back to, it's funner to drive a slow car fast than a fast car slow. Sometimes, you know what I mean, depending on what it is.
That's what people with slow cars say, but
that's what I'm saying over here. I'm like, yeah, you know, my car is not super fast. It's funny because I actually have a graphite gray Evo 9, just like the one that's inside your guys' in your videos that you guys are rebuilding, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's going to be done in a couple of weeks now.
Oh, really? Okay.
Of course, I switched over to Montana with most of my cars.
See that with a couple nicer cars. You'll see that.
I mean, you'll see that a lot to avoid paying the sales tax.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've already paid the sales tax on my cars. I just switched them to Montana because you can get a permanent plate, so you register it once and you're done for the rest of your life.
Oh, okay.
So if you're going to own it like me, I know I'm going to own this car forever. I'm going to own my Corvette forever. You just get a permanent plate. You never have to like re-register it. The inspection, you have none of those issues anymore.
Yeah.
And you just keep insurance on it, and you're good. And that's nice.
Yeah,
that's worth it. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, totally.
Did you feel VTEC kick in, yo?
Does it actually have VTEC?
It does have VTEC.
Does it really? I did not know that.
It did not hit VTEC. The VTEC's like above 5,000.
5.5, right? Is that when it kicks in? Yeah. I have a little daily driver, little Honda Civic EX with a little single overhead cam, VTEC in it, and you know, it's like, dude, it's nothing, but it's
psychological more so than anything. It's
like I'm just hearing something. I'm like, oh, that sounds like I'm going faster, so I can assume I am. Yeah. That's the funny part about cars. And you have an exhaust on this, right?
It does have an exhaust, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know who makes the exhaust. It's just an aftermarket exhaust.
So you haven't put any mods on this since you've owned it, right?
I put the brakes.
Okay, that's what you did. You did say you put the brakes.
I did the big brakes, and I bought it. It came with a set of HRE, I think 547s, which also were, I like the wheels and they were time period correct, but it just didn't drive very nice. Okay. So I switched back to the stock wheels, which were actually remarkably expensive for stock 16s and 17s or whatever they are. I did that and I raised the ride height a little bit. It's got adjustable Bilsteins on it.
Oh, okay.
And I put it to the upper perch, so it's as high as they can go. It still sits pretty low. Yeah. But it drives much nicer now. It's much more pleasurable.
So, it could go lower than what it is then.
I can on the existing suspension right now. I can lower it.
Oh wow!
But like driving over these bumps would not be as fun.
I could not. Yeah, like this is a totally different playing field than what I'm typically used to when you're driving around cars. And so seeing some of these potholes or some of these raised, I don't even know what you're like.
This is just a crappy road.
Yeah, this is pretty nuts. So. Yeah, it's definitely a different ballpark, but I can imagine though when you go on your adventure drives, that's where you're able to open things up, right?
Oh yeah, you get out west and you hit places like Montana, Wyoming, and even like a lot of rural roads, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, and you get runway. It's nice.
Yeah, well, dude, I really appreciate you taking me for a ride, and let me detail your car, man. Thanks for letting me wash it. You know,
thank you. I get the benefit out of this one, not you.
Traveling wash boy. You know, I'm all over the place. You know, washing people's cars. You know, who knows where I'll end up next? Maybe
Europe, on adventure drives.
Maybe on adventure drives. That could be a thing. So, anyways, guys, we're gonna end this video. This has been an awesome experience. If you guys want to check out more of Rob's videos, you can check out SuperSpeedersRob on YouTube. I'm sure you guys know who he is if you're watching this video. As always, if you want to watch other Wash Wednesdays, there's going to be more below. Subscribe for more, and we'll catch you in the next one. See ya! everything from dyeing to getting the yarn and basically creating the towel. And it really comes down to us in designing towels and thinking what we want and what we want it to do.
There's a lot of dying when you leave North Korea without permission.